Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy, oh gosh, what's today? Tuesday. What happened today? Well, today wasn't as bad as it was yesterday, so that's a good sign for us, I guess. Miners were kind of mixed today, but they were down a little bit, some were up a little bit. It wasn't that bad. At least we didn't have a repeat of yesterday, which was, I guess, a good sign. We have a couple of news stories here. Oh, excuse me, I just finished eating a sandwich and I just had a little burp. But we got Bitfarms and Hive making a deal for a Paraguay site there. We'll talk about that. We also have... what is it, Metaplanet or Metroplanet? One of those two in Japan. But basically looking to buy more Bitcoin. We have some states that are getting into the Bitcoin reserve business as well. A couple of them are actually there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners as well. Bitfarms, Hive, we'll get into all that. Oh, and the short data. We got short data to talk about as well. So it's going to be a full packed show tonight. Stay tuned as always, and not financial advice for him only. Do your own research. Full disclosure down below that. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Also, one other thing. I've updated some stuff on my microphone setup. Hopefully this sounds better than what it has in the past. But let me know if the sound is a little too low. I made a bunch of adjustments. I thought it sounded better, but I could be wrong on it. When I'm on live stream, I don't hear myself. So let me know how that sounds, okay? But let's get into it here right now. As far as what's going on with Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin was down just a little bit here today. It wasn't down too bad. It was down only, well, 0.76%, so not too bad. We finished out the day at 101,290. Tomorrow we have the FOMC meeting, I believe it is. That's happening tomorrow. We'll see if we get any kind of rate cuts. I'm guessing we probably don't, but I could be happily surprised if we do get something. It's going to be basically the FOMC against the presidency there. I know Trump wants to lower interest rates. We'll see if they, kind of go with him or not. But we'll see what happens there. And then, but back to the miners and Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin did okay today. It came down close to 100,000, but it bounced off of that, which was good. It's up on the new day a little bit here now. It's up about 0.63%, so that's looking pretty good. MicroStrategy down another day here. It's been down for the last 6 days in a row. But it seems like it's putting in like higher lows. So it might be getting close to maybe bottoming out here and then finally going back up. We'll see. MicroStrategy bought again yesterday, as we talked about it on last night's stream. Bitfarms was flat on the day today based on the news that they sold one of their sites, Paraguay sites, 20 megawatts to Hive there. So that one was flat today. Excuse me, BTBT was up 7.27% today. That one has been doing pretty good here. It got crushed yesterday, so it had a nice little bounce today. Cypher was down 0.44%. Cleanspark was down again 2.47% today. CORZ was up just a little bit here, 0.27. Hive was up 0.36 on the news that they're getting more megawatts and growing their hash rate. We'll talk about that in a second. HUT8 was down a little bit here, 0.86. IREN was down 0.10. Mara was down 0.14. Riot was down 4.37. And Wolf was up 4.74 on that. So that kind of played out like I said, it wasn't a bad day. Annie was up a little bit. Argo was down. BitDigital was down. Digihost was up nicely today. Probably the best performer here out of the bunch, 9.72%. DMG was up a little bit as well, 2.22. Mawson was down. Stronghold was down. What else do we have here? The ETFs were kind of mixed here. BitQ was down. BKCH was up. DAP was down. WGMI was actually up. And then going down here to some of these other ones that we kind of keep an eye on. Kang was up just a little bit here, 0.21. Applied was up 0.69. Trump coin was up another 1% today. Tesla was up a little bit here, and Galaxy was up as well on that. Okay, so that's it for the miners. Let's take a look at the news stories that we have here and take a look at really quick where Bitcoin is right now. For the month of January, it is at 8.41%, so we're still in the green. We got a couple more days left to go before everything is said and done. And let's get into our first story here, which is on Metaplanet. So Metaplanet plans to raise over $700 million to buy Bitcoin. The Japanese firm Metaplanet plans to raise roughly $745 million to fund Bitcoin purchases, aiming for 21,000 BTC by 2026 as part of its strategy to lead Japan's Bitcoin renaissance. So companies are still continuing to buy. MicroStrategy is continuing to buy. We got states talking about Bitcoin reserves as well. A lot of good things are happening here for us, even though it doesn't really feel like it with the miners. The miners are getting... Well, they got crushed yesterday, but they did okay today. Eventually, I think things are going to definitely pump for us, and they're definitely going to pump well. This is a tweet from Dennis Porter here. He leads the Satoshi Action Fund there. But big breaking, I can confirm that Arizona has become the first state in the nation to pass out committee a bill to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The bill will soon move to the floor for a vote in the Senate. Congrats to the co-sponsors, Wendy Rogers and Jeff Winninger for the leadership. So Arizona's up first here, looks like. Then we got this, breaking a bill to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve has been filled in the state of South Dakota by Manhart Logan here, looks like. So another state getting into this as well. And then you got another one from Dennis here today as well. Massive breaking. With a superior majority vote, Utah becomes the second state in the nation to pass a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill out of the committee. Thank you to the leadership of Jordan Tusher and Treasurer Oaks, looks like, and Senator Cullimore, as well as Utah's forward-thinking approach. So, I mean, it's just like state after state after state, we're seeing this. So what's going to probably end up happening here is the states are going to probably take the lead on Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, and then we'll eventually see it in the United States as well in general. So a lot of good news is happening here. So we got a lot of things to be thankful for and a lot of things to be happy about, even though the miners are not doing that well. But in time, they will catch up. All right, big news here today. Bitfarms enters into a binding LOI, letter of intent with Hive Digital Technologies for the sale of its Yaguza, Paraguay site. We talked about this before as well. It's like, what the heck is going on with that site there, right? They were supposed to get to 21 exahash by the end of 2024. That's been pushed out till the end of the first half of 2025. Really didn't know what was going on there. Yes, they kind of mentioned it in some places that they were looking for maybe, well, they didn't come out and say for sale or something like that, but there was some wording that kind of maybe hinted towards that. And sure enough, we got this news today, so that kind of covers up what's going on there. They're selling that site. That's why they weren't looking to grow in that. They're basically pivoting positions or pivoting strategies here going forward. They're going to be more into the United States, which I think is a good thing here for them. But here's what we have on this. So today announced that it has entered into a binding letter of intent to sell its 200 megawatt site, Yaguza, Paraguay, to Hive Digital Technologies. The transaction is expected to close in the first quarter of 2025. So basically, they're going to be selling that site and buying Stronghold at the same time. So that's looking pretty good for them there. Bitfarms CEO Ben Gagnon stated, we are pleased to announce the sale of our Yaguza site to Hive as we continue to streamline our operations and rebalance towards North America. Bitfarms will be reinvesting the capital from the sale towards its 1 gigawatt growth pipeline in the United States for BTC and HPC infrastructure, which marks a significant milestone in our transition from an international Bitcoin miner to a North American energy and compute infrastructure company. So that is looking pretty good there. He's making a lot of changes. A lot of stuff that's been going on before he took the helm at Bitfarms was more based on the board members that were there. I think they were kind of pushing for this kind of expansion in South America, in Paraguay and elsewhere. And he's committing more into being more in the United States, which I think is good because you do have a lot more capital that's going to be available there. And also if you have them buy Stronghold and potentially, I'm not saying that's going to happen, I'm saying it's a possibility that they could get headquartered in the United States as well because of that. So that would be good things happening for Bitfarms here. Continuing on here, we remain fully committed to our current operations in Latin America with 3 sites totaling 144 megawatts that all benefit from long-term power credits, or contracts, competitive pricing and geographic diversification. This shift towards U.S.-based assets is in line with our strategy to diversify beyond Bitcoin mining and capitalize on the significant growth opportunities in HPC AI. So they are still looking to do that, and they talked about that in the past as well. Their Pennsylvania site, also the Stronghold acquisition there, they could possibly do something there as well. Okay, so the terms, Bitfarms to receive $25 million upon closing of this transaction, $31 million over 6 months following closing. So they're going to be getting, is it going to be roughly $5 million a year or $5 million a month for 6 months, and then $19 million as a reimbursement for power deposits made to Andy by Bitfarms. So Bitfarms made a deposit of $19 million with the Andy, which is the power generation there, which is the largest, I think the second largest or largest hydroelectric dam there. So that's part of that deal, and then approximately $10 million in remaining capital obligations. I don't know if they're going to be on the hook for that, or if they're going to be funding the obligations and then Hive is going to be paying them back for it. I'm not sure on that, how that's going to work out. Transaction benefits, so this significantly reduces Bitfarms' anticipated 2025 capital requirements. It rebalances portfolio to 80% North American now and 20% international by year end of 2025. When coupled with our acquisition of Stronghold Digital Mining, which is expected to close in the next couple of months, and then reduce estimated average power cost by 10%. So they're actually going to be doing better on that part. Excuse me. It does not impact miner deployment schedule. Reduces year-end 2025 megawatt capacity from 955 to 755, but they stated that they have a 1 gigawatt pipeline, so they're going to be possibly developing excuse me, some sites in the United States as well, but we don't have anything concrete on that, right? I think Ben Gagnon tweeted something to stay tuned. There's some things to be happening in the United States, which is going to be good on that one. So that's basically Bitfarms side of the story here. My take on this is, okay, if they're committing to the United States, yeah, then this definitely makes sense for them to sell off that site there. If they can also save a little bit on electricity costs as well because of it by 10%, that's pretty good there. The only thing that I didn't like was the reduction in megawatts that they had pretty much planned out, right? But if they can do something in the United States that brings those megawatts back, then it might be okay. Then I'm okay with it. Right now, I have no plans to sell. I want to see what they do for January production updates. And at that point, we will decide whether I want to continue to hold or if I'm going to actually sell a portion of it based on those reports. But yeah, so I think this is good for them, and I believe it's also really good for Hive here. So when we look at Hive, they provide the same kind of information here, but they also provided an increased target for their exahash growth here this year, which I love. I love seeing that because, as you guys know, one of the things that I've been harping on them is I didn't like the growth that they had. I thought they weren't being as, gosh, I keep forgetting the word there, as bullish or as motivated, driven to grow their hash rate as others have been here in the past. Okay, but this, they basically shut me up right now. Getting to 25 exahash by September of 2025 is going to be great for them. Yes, it does mean that they're going to have to buy some more machines. We'll talk about that here in a second, but this is good, really, really good news for them as well. So this acquisition will accelerate Hive's growth, increasing its global Bitcoin mining hash rate from 6 exahash per second today to anticipated 25 exahash by September 2025, cementing its position as an industry leader. All amounts in US dollars otherwise indicated. So that's great there, right? They're targeting to get to 15 exahash, which they have options to get to that as well. But right now, we'll look at the numbers here in a second. We'll talk about those here. I'm just not going to go off my memory here because I know my memory is going to be off. But we'll look at the numbers here in a second here. But Hive's enhanced operational capacity in Paraguay will total now 300 megawatts upon completion of this acquisition, bringing its global capacity, including existing facilities in Canada and Sweden, to 430 megawatts by Q3 2025. This milestone reflects Hive's commitment to operating entirely on 100% green hydroelectric energy, while solidifying its leadership as one of Latin America's largest Bitcoin mining operators. And that's going to be pretty much true there, I think. So this is great for them. They're accustomed to working outside of their jurisdictions like Canada, Sweden, right? Paraguay now as well. So they're used to all of that. Phase development plan here. So phase 1 is scheduled for completion by April 1st. Construction is already 80% complete with essential infrastructure nearing readiness. Phase 1 will add approximately 6 exahash of capacity, which we'll expect to have fully hashing in calendar Q2. And then Hive will be assuming the remaining payments in this phase, which includes payments to full energization. And then phase 2 is expected to be completed by August 31st. 2025 phase 2 will add 6.5 exahash with hydro-cooled ASICs, leveraging advanced efficiencies. Okay, so that's kind of interesting there that phase 2 is not going to be ready until August 31st. And what we heard back a couple of months back from Ben and Bitfarms was that they were targeting to get that done by the end of the first half here. So it looks like they are behind schedule on this. Okay. Hive estimates the total net cost to complete the site to 200 megawatts to be $400,000 per megawatt upon completion. I think they paid Bitfarms a little less than that, like, excuse me, like between 325 and 375,000 per megawatt or something like that. And I believe somewhere around there. I'd have to run the numbers again. And then additionally, Hive separate previously announced 100 megawatt project in Paraguay remains on track for energization by June 2025, which will provide 6.5 exahash of hash rate from Bitmain S21 hydro-cooled ASICs, bringing Hive's interim target to 13 exahash. So definitely a lot of growth happening in the second quarter, I'm guessing, for them. Even in the first quarter, they might be able to get some of its stuff. Well, April's going to be second quarter, sorry. So a lot of growth going to be happening here in second quarter and possibly third quarter as well That's why they're talking about getting to 25 exahash by the end of Q3 here. Strategic investment and community impact. So to achieve its ambitious 25 exahash target, Hive has already strategically secured ASICs for 15 exahash from its order for a Bitmain S21 Plus Hydro ASICs. They have an option to, they bought a number of those, and they have an option to buy another number of that. We'll look at that in the sheet next door. And then they have also purchased some Canon Avalon A series miners as well. Hive plans for additional ASIC purchases in the coming months to reach 25 exahash. Hive targets a global fleet efficiency of 16.5 joules per terahash efficiency once 25 exahash milestone is reached. Based on current ASIC offerings in the market, these investments target rapid returns and ensure improvement in energy efficiency and thus lower cost of Bitcoin production, right? So that's all good there. Frank Holmes, executive chairman of Hive, stated the acquisition demonstrates our focus on sustainable growth and innovation, reaching 3% of the global Bitcoin mining network by September 2025. Powered entirely by green energy is a remarkable achievement. Okay, 3% is going to be with the current network hash rate. So if they can get to 25 exahash by then and the network hash rate stays the same, yes. If the network hash rate goes up to 1,200 exahash or something like that, it's going to be a little bit less, but it's still going to be better than the 1% that they were looking like they're going to be yet. So we're looking at maybe like 2%, somewhere around there. We'd have to see where the network hash rate actually goes. And then Paraguay's political stability and reinforced by President Santiago Peña's recent presence at President Trump's inauguration highlights the country's alignment with U.S. economic growth priorities. Our facilities provide monthly U.S. dollar revenue to the Paraguayan government, utility company, Andy, demonstrating mutual economic benefits. Hive's presence position as a major contributor to Paraguay's economic development, while establishing a leadership role in Latin America. So all good things here for these guys. Not only it's good for Bitfarms, but it's also good for Hive as well. So love seeing this. I love seeing the chutzpah, or whatever you want to call it, that they've recently gotten here and are looking to grow their Bitcoin mining operations and having a nice target here by the end of Q3 to 25 exahash. I think it's fantastic. Love seeing that. All right, let's take a look at their numbers here really quick. So this is Bitfarms here. Bitfarms is going to be at 21 exahash, hopefully by the end of this first half, which is what they've kind of talked about here. They don't have anything else purchased to get beyond that right now. They did at one point have a slide presentation where they said that they could possibly get to like 35 exahash with everything being by the end of possibility of getting there by the end of 2025. Right now, I'd be happy if they get to 21 exahash. And we'll see what they do beyond that. We just need some clarity, some guidance, and some forward-looking statements, I think, from them. But that's Bitfarms here. Let's take a look at Hive here really quick as well. Hive, on the numbers here, I do have what they reported as far as machines being bought, right? So we have the 4.3 exahash here of the S21 Plus Hydros, and then they have optionality to buy another 4.3 exahash of those as well. That gets us to approximately, with the option to buy, that would get us to 15 exahash. From there, if they want to grow another 10 exahash, we're looking at approximately 50,000 miners, maybe less than that. But if you're looking at like $15 to $18 per terahash, you're looking at another roughly $150 million in investment to do that as well. So there might be some dilution there unless they sell some Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up in value. They're going to probably do probably a mixture of both, I'm guessing. Some ATM, some operational cash that they're going to use as well, and maybe selling some Bitcoin there also on top of it. Okay, so that's looking pretty good for them. Love seeing that. And like I've said before, they're a great operator, always have really good uptimes and everything else. For me, it was just the growth, right? The growth just wasn't there. Now the growth is there. May have to take a much deeper dive or deeper look into them to see if I want to pull on the trigger there a little bit. I had them from 2017 through 2022, I think, is when I sold them, or 2023, whenever I sold them. Because of the growth just wasn't there, so I sold them. But yeah, that's it for that one. Let's take a look at the shorts really quick as well, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A as well, and we'll call it a day. Let's see here. Shorts, okay. So this is as of January 15th, is the latest data that we have on these guys. So it is, what is it, a couple days late, 13 days late roughly, right? Current number of shares shorted here. We can see that Marathon's still the most shorted with number of shares, at least 81.86, followed by Cleanspark, 76 million. Then you got Riot at 68 million, followed by Terra 66, Bitfarms at 61 million, Core at 42, Cypher 21, 15 for IREN, BitDeer 13, Hut 8 at 10 million, and Hive, the least shorted here at 4.25 million. All right, now when we look at the percentage of average floated shorts, we have Hut 8 now being the shorted the most, 27%, Followed by Cleanspark at 26%, then Marathon 25%, TeraWolf 23%, Riot 21%, CORZ 17%, Bitfarms 16%, along with BitDeer, Cypher at almost 9% there, IREN at almost 8%, and Hive at 3%. So that's how it's stacking up there right now, just from a couple, well, basically 2 weeks ago. Share sort of versus market cap here. So the value you can see here, Marathon is at 5.8 billion market cap. They are 1.5 billion value shorted, basically. Next biggest one here is going to be 787 million for Cleanspark with 2.9 billion market cap. And then you got Riot, right, with 3.6 billion market cap at 780 million roughly. And you can see the rest of these guys, how they all stack up there. Core at 3.1 billion and 539 million being shorted. And then number of shares shorted changed from last time. Big increase here for TeraWolf, 7 million more shares being shorted. IREN had a little bit of an increase here at 2.3, followed by Riot at 2.09. And then we had Bitfarms 2.07, followed by Cleanspark just a little bit here, along with BitDeer, Hut 8, Hive. And then we had a decrease actually in Cypher, Core, and Marathon at this point. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? Alrighty, change in shares shorted from last review. So, what do we got? Okay, IREN, 17% increase from last time. And I gotta sneeze, so bear with me here. Okay, hopefully it was a one-time event and I don't get another sneezing attack like last week when I did the show. Who else was here? TeraWolf, 11% on that one. Hive was at 7.48% change over last time. And then price change percentage from 12 weeks ago. BitDeer's up the most, 130%, followed by Hut 8 at 33%, IREN at 21%. And then we had a couple like Riot being up 5, Marathon 3, Core being down 5, Cleanspark being down 15, Cypher down 17, TeraWolf 23, Bitfarms 27, Hive at 33% down. I think I am getting another sneezing attack. I'm like starting to think I'm like allergic to these streams or something. Or there's something in the air down here in the basement. Maybe I need to move my site or my little studio into the shed outside or something. I don't know. Let's take a look at these, how these have changed over time here. Gosh, I thought I was going to sneeze again. Went away. Okay, you can see BitDeer here. It has been increasing over time, as you can see on that one. Bitfarms increasing over time as well. The shorts are still relentless. They're not letting these guys go, maybe some of them. Cypher has actually been coming down here a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Cleanspark, a huge increase here again over time. And geez, you know what? I forgot to update this. I'm looking at 1231. Let's update this really quick. Sorry about that. Bear with me. Let's pull this down. Let's see, so many data points and so many things to update. Okay, there we go. BitDeer has been going up. Bitfarms has been going up as well here recently. Cypher has actually been coming down. Cleanspark has been going up as well, a little bit less, or not as much as last time. But Core has been coming down here recently. Hive has been going up actually a little bit. Hut 8 has been going up just a little bit here as well. IREN has been going up as well. Marathon has been actually coming down. Excuse me. Riot has been going up. And TeraWolf has been going up as well. Okay, so that is it. That's interesting to take a look at how that has played out. Shorts are still on our backs. They're not going anywhere, it looks like, until maybe the results for the Q4 results come out. At that point, I can't think of anything else that would make the shorts go away other than having good EPS numbers for these guys here. So I'll get this updated for you guys tonight. Probably tonight. I'll probably do that tonight because we're still relatively early here. So I should be able to have enough time to do it tonight. And I'll get this out to the Patreon members tonight with all the spreadsheets and everything else. And if you want to join that, that's $8 a month. You might be able to find a couple spots that are still $5 and $4 a month. Link for that is down in the description, as always. And let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here, see what you guys have to say. And I do apologize for my sneezing. It just comes and goes whenever it wants to. I've had it in the past where I was asleep, like 2 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, I just got a sneezing attack for whatever reason, and I sneezed like a crazy guy for about 15, 20 minutes, and then it goes away, and I'm good for another day or so. It's just nuts. Maybe it's the nose hairs in my nose that are tickling me or something like that and making me sneeze. We need to get the trimmers out, get the weed whacker out. All right, let's see. As always, questions. Preface those with a question mark if you could. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here on this as well. And then if you guys could also let me know, how does this sound tonight? Is it any better from last night's show or not, or if it's the same? Okay, here we go. First question. What is it going to take to get Hive to move? They have like 80% of their market cap in BTC, and they're I'm guessing Boeing expanding, HPCI, and Bitcoin mining. It's not even that shorted. This is nuts. I think it's going to take them getting moved to the United States for the headquarters. That's one thing. And the growth here right now. The concern here, I think, that might be with them as of now, might be just dilution. How much will they dilute to grow to the 25 exahash? That might be the thing that, excuse me, is the one thing that's actually holding them back. And I'm sorry about the snorting. Here, hold on. I'm going to see if I can do that without you guys hearing it. I got to clear my nose really quick here. Bear with me. Okay, let's go back here. Sorry about that. At least you get a nice view of, I think, London there. So that's the only thing I can think of. Before I thought it was the lack of growth, but the growth is now here, right? They have a nice hodl position as well. It's not that large, but it's decent. So it's just a matter of them continuing to do what they do, I think. And then once they get headquartered in the United States, I would imagine that would help as well. Let's see here. Hello, Sub. If the miners don't take off even after their earnings, do you think there's another catalyst that can take the shorts out and let the miners run? Thanks. Bitcoin getting to 200,000. That would be the second catalyst I would think that would make them run. If the good EPS targets or EPS reports come out for Q4 on some of these guys, if that doesn't make them run, our only hope at that point is that Bitcoin gets to 200,000 like within the next 6 months or something like that, or maybe 9 months. That might be it. Unless we go into an extended cycle and then it's going to take longer. Then I don't know. That's a different cycle altogether at that point. Let's see here. What could be Hive's price target this cycle? I think it's going to be it's going to be higher than what my expectations were originally with it. I still think that they're undervalued, way undervalued from when they really should be. If we look at them here really quick, let me go back here. Based on the revenue that they had in December times 12 months, right? P of 15. I think the growth is actually better now, right? So let's get them up to like 20 here. That gets them to 941 and 1411. And I thought there was a NLS that actually came out with price targets from like around $11, I think, somewhere around there. Based on the fact that they bought, I think it was maybe Cantor, that they bought the 200 megawatts and grown to 25 exahash here. So I have them between 941 and 1411. They're at 279. Are they undervalued? Yeah, they're undervalued based on just what I'm seeing here right now. Okay, so we could put them in the undervalued category. Okay, so that's that one. Let's go back to the Q&A here. And that. What else here? Seb, this bull market, none of the fundamentals are mattering. Any thoughts? Yeah. You would think the fundamentals and the companies that are doing well and things like that would be doing better, but they're not. This cycle it's recently been HPCI. Those guys have gotten crushed though yesterday. But before that, they were flying high. And I think we'll see. I'm thinking that the quarterly results will be the catalyst, but time will tell on that one. Do you think Cleanspark will cross $18 at BTC 125? It looks like the miners just dumping 3x at BTC dips, but going up only 0.5% or 0.5x at BTC pumps. When will miners' parabolic move be invalidated and we should sell? Okay, so I think yes, there are times when the miners, Bitcoin's going up and the miners don't do as well, but there's also times when the miners do actually do 2x, 3x on top of Bitcoin, what Bitcoin does. It's just, right, the bad days look worse than the good days. Like I said, I think we're going to need the Q4 results. Bitcoin's got to definitely pump from there as well. Going forward, tomorrow's going to be interesting. We have the FOMC meeting. We'll see if we get a rate cut or not. I doubt we will, but love to see it happen. That would be a good thing for risk on assets like Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well. And yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we need something there to happen. All right, let's see. Have you had to adjust your price targets for miners because they keep dropping more percent and aren't tracking with BTC movements? That's part of it as well, right? I'm trying to also maybe tamper down expectations. Be a little bit, I thought I was conservative to begin with, but maybe not conservative enough, I guess. It's just been a rough cycle this time around. Things are not playing out the way we wanted to. The miners are being shorted to, all kingdom come. And yeah, we'll see how, we'll have to wait and see how things play out. But that's kind of why I've been kind of tempering them down a little bit. Should we update Bitfarms' growth expectations with Bitfarms downsizing for 2025? Well, the target's still 21 exahash, right? So if they can get there by the end of the first half, I think that'd be great. And they should get there, hopefully. That's what they've been targeting here, so that's kind of what we're counting on. And then after that, we'll have to wait and see what they do after that. Christian says, short data is pretty useless in my opinion. Well, I wouldn't say it's useless. I think there's some use to it, especially if you think that some of these shorts are going to start covering, and you can see which miners might actually do well based on that. That doesn't always lead to that, but that's something you can always look at, but see which ones are also being beaten down because of shorts. Let's see your question. It's the end of March, Q4. We're blowout earnings. BTC at 150,000, making its way to 180 for the market top. Miners not moving. What's your next move? I'm selling. If that's the case, I'm saying it now, but I probably won't sell. But I'm saying if the miners are not moving and they're still at the same spot, with Bitcoin at 150,000 going to 180, and they actually had really good quarterly results, yeah, that would be so frustrating. And I don't know what else is holding them down other than the institutions. Let's see your question. Bitfarms selling Paraguay is losing hash rate. Excuse me. So they're not really losing hash rate. They're targeting 21 exahash. They are going to be moving that over basically into the United States in some form, whether it's at Stronghold sites that they can build out there a little bit more or something like that. Okay. Hold on, guys. I got to sneeze again, and bear with me. So we're going to put you guys over here in this chart for now. Okay, sorry about that. My nose is running into my throat, and then I had to sneeze. Allergies. Hopefully it goes away quickly. All right, back here. Ryan says, I didn't notice anything bad about the audio. Okay, good. So everything's working out pretty good here. I made some changes. Hopefully it was for the better, not for the worse. Okay. You can pick one miner for remainder of the cycle. What's your pick? For me, it would probably be Cleanspark. That's been my pick here pretty much for the last 3 years for the most part. What type of positive movement does Bitfarms need to have to start rocketing on the price? Execution. They need to execute on their targets and everything else. Does the short in Bitfarms shows a lot of weakness in the company itself, or big market makers are just holding it down? It's pending for a turnaround. I think it's just they're keeping them, not only them down, but it's keeping Cleanspark down, Mara down, Riot down as well in there. So I think we're just being artificially kept down. Let's see. Hello said, will it make sense for the miners with a lot of share count to reverse split? You generally cannot short sell fractional shares. I do not like reverse splits. It signals to the market that you're going to be diluting more going forward as well. I would say the number of shares the miners have is not extensively high. Right? They can always say add more shares to it, but I wouldn't be for it. Okay. Let's see here. Sebastian, great channel. Have you heard of RiotX? And if you have, what's your thoughts on it? By the way, I hope you sneeze subside, brother. Thanks. Right, ROIX, isn't that a 2x on Riot or something like that? It's a leverage play, I believe, on that one. You can do that, but the miners are already like a leverage play on Bitcoin. Is just you're adding leverage on top of leverage there, I think. So I stay away from those things. Sebastian, do you regret not swapping these miners for IBIT last year? I do not, because I have Bitcoin as well. So I'm leaving my Bitcoin the way it is. I'm not touching anything with that. And I still think that the miners might outperform here, or at least I think they should outperform going forward. But in the next, I would say 3 to 6, 9 months, something like that, they should outperform Bitcoin sizably. If Bitcoin only goes up 2x from here, miners should do much better than that. They should, but it hasn't been that way the case, or it hasn't been the case here recently at least. Question, the 2-3x multiple last cycle was due to there be no other option for Bitcoin proxies. Mining businesses are not high PE, they are capital intensive and low margin most of the time. Yeah, but then there's the time of window where you get the 3 to 6 to 9 months where they do generate a lot of revenue and at high margins too, like 70-80% margin sometimes, depending where Bitcoin goes. So that's the window that really, moves these things up. Okay. At this point, which is better, Hive or Bitfarms? Right now, based on growth that we have reported from these two companies, it's looking like maybe Bitfarms might be, not Bitfarms, Hive might be the better one. They're growing from 6 exahash to 25 exahash in the next 8 months or so. That's really good growth. That's, what is that, 3x, 4x growth on there. Bitfarms is growing only about 2x. So based on growth alone, if you look at it that way, Hive might be the one. Let's see here. If the institutions hold down the miners after BTC hits 150,000, I think we should sick Wall Street bets on them. Yeah. Roaring Kitty. Get Roaring Kitty on them as well. It seems like the BTC price shakeouts are getting shallow. I mean, the AI shakeout, it only dropped to 98K with a decent bounce. Do you see that as well? I feel like a lot of support is around 100,000. Yeah, I see the same thing. The recent drop that we had down to, what was it, like 90-some thousand, was like 17% from the top. So it wasn't all that bad there. Yeah, the shakeouts are getting shallower, it seems like. But we'll see if that's a continuation that we're going to see going forward as well. What's your definitive final deadline for selling the miners if they don't move? It's tempting to hold on until they move, but we can't just hold on to Hopium forever. I think at the end of this quarter, if Bitcoin's moving and they're not moving or something like that, I have some profits in some of these guys. I think Bitfarms, I'm up maybe like 3% now or something like that. It's definitely come way down from where I was, but I'm still positive on IREN. I'm still positive on Cleanspark. If those things run up here, Bitcoin going up maybe to 125,000, 130,000, whatever it might be this quarter, and the miners are still kind of flat or around here, and after reporting good quarterly results, may have to reevaluate these things. Maybe sell a portion of those things, take my money out that I put into them, and see what the rest of it runs like. Which miner do you think will have the lowest cost per coin with everything included in Q4? With everything included? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm guessing maybe. Gosh, I know it's not gonna be Mara. I think maybe. Oh, I would think maybe Cypher. Cypher might have pretty low numbers there. Who else? After that, I would think maybe IREN, followed by maybe Cleanspark, possibly somewhere around there. It just all depends on what kind of stuff they throw in there. Okay, let's see here. Did Bitfarms ship their miners in the 4th to the USA instead of Paraguay? If so, they will be able to meet their expected hash rate. I believe they were planning on doing that, right? They were trying to get those miners into Stronghold. I think it was like 20,000 miners that were being sent over there. So I'm sure they probably moved shipments out to the United States here now. Karen, thank you so much for the super sticker there. Nice a rough week. I have both Bitfarms and Hive. I think this deal was win-win situation. I agree. I think so also. Let's see. Get an air filter, and also Riot, please buy us out of the 230 USD. And also Riot to buy us out. Bitfarms. Yeah, I have an air filter going on here. It's not, my sneezing and the attacks that I get sometimes on the sneezing side of things is, it doesn't really matter where I'm at. Like I said, I could be upstairs in my bedroom, sleeping at 2 o'clock or in the morning, get woken up with, start sneezing like crazy. I could be at work. I could be just doing something outside. It's not like it's one thing that's triggering it. So it's just a weird thing, and it doesn't last that long. It usually lasts like maybe half an hour and goes away. Okay. How much did it cost Bitfarms to build this site? They sold. I'm hearing they are slightly breaking even on it. Yeah, I think they're either breaking even on it or just slightly making a profit on it. We know that the labor there is less expensive. Materials are less expensive as well. So I think they're going to be okay on that. They're not losing money on it at least. Let's see. What does being most shorted stock mean for stock price? Does that mean stock price is subdued? Shorted or not, they are all down big while BTC is at 100,000. Yeah, being shorted, your stock is going to be more subdued. It's going to be kept from running possibly. So those all things go into effect there. Let's see. Do you think Bitfarms sold because they didn't want to sink more money to build out infrastructure or issues with importing miners? Do you see this? Did you see this? I did not see the sale coming. They kind of telegraphed it, I think. I think in one of the posts or something like that, they said something to the regard of maybe I can't remember the phrasing that they used there, but it was something to the regard of being maybe selling the sites there or something like that. That was on the table, or at least an option there. So I did not see that coming here. I thought they were going to keep those sites actually and continue to build out, well, get that up and running and then build out here in the United States. So this is a little bit different from what I thought was going to happen. Let's see, didn't Ben said more expansion in the U.S.? If that happens, then Bitfarms will grow more than Hive. Potentially, yeah. Remember on one of the presentation slides that they had out there just a while ago, they had the potential to grow to like 35 exahash like this year from the sites and everything else. If they can get to that still, then that would be great. But right now, just based on what's being reported, we know Bitfarms is getting 21, Hive is getting 25. Let's see. Todd has a question. I hold Bitfarms and will continue to do so, but don't you agree that the opportunity cost at this point is grand, and we could have reaped profits from other assets and still bought Bitfarms at if you're trading this stuff, or if you're day trading or just trading them in general, right? You don't have to day trade them. You can trade them on their troughs and peaks and things like that. You could have done better. I don't have time to do that. So the opportunity cost for me has always been basically just dollar cost average into the ones that I believe are going to do well in the bull run, which we're kind of in right now, but the miners still aren't doing well. So I bought yesterday as well. I bought more Cleanspark and IREN into them, and then we'll see where we are in the next 3, 6, 9 months. And hopefully by that time Bitcoin's at 200,000 plus, and the miners have gone at least where we thought they were going to go or close to that, and sell out at that point and be done with it. Let's see, are you interested in any other sectors beside miners? Yeah, I'm also interested in like the space sector, like SpaceX and others in that space. I'm also interested in the HPC AI space as well, what's going on in that space, the quantum computing, the nuclear, the energy side of things. There's a couple of things I'm interested in, but I just don't have enough time in the day to look into everything. So if it slows down with the miners or something like that, I may transition to one of those things as well. Let's see. Sneak action, it's Trump and high school all over again. So I don't see shareholders making any money this year. If we go into a bear market in 2026, do you think it's possible Bitfarms go to around 50 cents again? Yeah, if we have a repeat cycle where 2026 is another bear market, then yeah, I would imagine these guys going back down to the single digit dollar ranges and even to the penny, teens of cents possibility. Question, has Ben running Bitfarms into the ground? I don't think so. I think he's kind of, what's the word? What's a good acronym for that? Turning the ship around, things like that, whatever you want to call it. I think he's just doing it in his view where he thinks things should go. So we'll see if he does things right. Do you think the mining companies care about growing share prices? Well, they should, right? It's, they have a duty there to shareholders to increase the value of the company. So I would hope that they care, but Could they just care about making themselves some money? Sure, right? Let's see. Seb, what do you think of Digihost? They were up quite a bit early today. I think they still finished up. Digihost, let's take a look at them really quick. They've had a nice run up here recently. I mean, they've had a really, really good run up here. If you look at them, I mean, they got it to a high of 317, and they, well, that was today even. Wow. Yeah, they did have a nice run up. So maybe that was the top for them right there. I would have to look at my numbers to see if I have anything for them as far as where they should be valued at. But 271 would possibly be at the, well, I think that might be close to like being even valued there at that point. Let me see financials really quick. What's their market cap? 91. Yeah, I mean they're smaller miner. So I'd be just a little cautious with them because this thing might, if this is the top, might actually come back screaming down here a little bit. Yeah. All right, back here. Talked about that one already. It's here. Question, is the short squeeze a possibility for the miners? What conditions need to take place for it? Short, yeah, some of these guys that are like 20% plus, I think the short squeeze is possible. I think you can have a short squeeze if there's over 10%, I believe, from what I read. So there, it's possible there, but what would we need? A perfect storm. Bitcoin starts going like within the next 2-3 weeks, going to like 120,000 or something like that. The miners providing really good EPS numbers for quarterly results for Q4. That might be the perfect storm that we would need for them to get kind of squashed there a little bit. Let's see, why would Trump talk about SPR before World Liberty Financial and the U.S. Treasury have time to accumulate? Maybe they're already accumulating. How do we know? We don't know that. But Cynthia came out, well, I think Cynthia came out a while ago. Cynthia was there about, they were buying like 200,000 of Bitcoin for like 5 years and holding it for like 20 years or something like that. Let's see here. So what do you think about tomorrow's FOMC meeting? I think it's going to be neutral more or less. I think they're going to hold the line here. But I'd love to be surprised and have them cut by 25 basis points. You know, maybe Trump got into their little ears there and said, hey, lower the rates a little bit here. I don't know. We'll see. Todd says, thanks for all you do. Love the stream. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in, as always. Why do you buy this trash? Glutton for punishment, I guess. I mean, the real reason was the miners did so well last cycle. Started doing tracking data on these guys, seeing which ones did well and which ones did not do well and what was the catalyst for it. So thought we could maybe repeat that process again with this cycle. Let's see. Kevin, haven't seen you I don't think I've seen you in a while here. It's been a while, I think. Trump said, drill, baby, drill. He has found any Bitcoin in the ground yet to make it go up? No, not yet. Let's see. How many exahash Stronghold accusations will add to Bitfarms if they execute to 21 exahash? How many exahash Stronghold accusations? I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm getting your question there. But Stronghold has older miners as well, so those are going to be getting swapped out. Did you expect the miners to significantly pass their all-time highs this cycle at some point? Do you still? I didn't expect the miners to pass. Oh, I was expecting them to get at least close to their all-time high, but I didn't expect them to surpass it. Right, Marathon was at $80 last cycle. They've grown tremendously, though. So I was thinking they could get close to it, maybe surpass it even if Bitcoin goes high enough. But we haven't seen any of that happening here. I mean, they got to $30-some here recently. So that was only, what, $40-some odd away from it. So they were halfway there, but they've come back down, definitely like everybody else has. Okay. Capri says, this cycle is similar to 2017 cycle, and therefore there is potential huge upside left for the BTC miners this year. I'm still thinking the same thing, right? But as each day goes on, it's kind of like, it's making it tougher and tougher to think that. This is bad news for the Bitfarms selling assets, desperate for cash. I don't think they're desperate for cash. They have HODL position. They could use that as well. They have an ATM there that they can use. Also, the deal with Stronghold is mostly for shares anyways. So I don't think it was based on that. But maybe. I said, what is going to take Hive to move? They have 80% of their market cap on BTC moved to the United States. They're growing both HPC and Bitcoin mining. They're not. Yeah, I think I covered your question earlier, but what's going to take for them to move is going to be moving to the United States, growing their hash rate, and I think that should be enough. Bitcoin going up in value, then providing some good quarterly numbers as well. That should make it go. The only concern there now is with them is how much will they dilute shares to grow in Paraguay. Okay. What cycle is this closest cycle to? It looks like, I mean, if we look at the numbers here on this chart, it kind of looks like the 2015, 2016, 2017 cycle a little bit here. Let's go back to here. You can see that in 2015, right? 2016, we had green Septembers. We had that over here as well. We had then the next 3 months being green, except for this time around, we only had 3 months here and then the red month here. In 2017, we were actually just up. No, excuse me. We were down a little bit here in Bitcoin. In 2017, we're up a little bit here. It's not a huge gain. So could it be like 2017 cycle where we have then a good February, bad March, and then check this out. 5 months of good increases here, 1 bad month, 3 more. I mean, if it comes out to be that, I'll take it. I would love to see that. But that's kind of what it's looking to me, at least right now, like the 2017 cycle possibly. Okay. Any thoughts on why many of the miners didn't even end green today while NVIDIA was able to recover half of its loss today? Well, NVIDIA's, NVIDIA's a juggernaut, right? So I think there was a lot of overreaction on those things. Miners, on the other hand, people got wrecked a little bit. I mean, miners were down 35% at the peaks here. How much was NVIDIA down? 7%, 8%, whatever it was down yesterday. I can't remember exactly how much it was down, but right, it wasn't as much as, let's take a look at NVIDIA here. Do I have NVIDIA here? Pull that up. How much was it down yesterday? NVIDIA, there it is. Pull that up really quick. Let's take a look at it. How much was it down yesterday? It was down quite a bit, actually. Let's take a look at it. So NVIDIA was down yesterday 17%. So came back a little bit here. I mean, it opened up way lower here. I mean, it was at 143, so it still didn't actually get back to where it was, just like the miners didn't really get back to where they were as well. But the only thing I think of with NVIDIA is, I mean, they're generating so much revenue from all the chips that they manufacture and everything else. So a lot of demand for that stuff still there. It's not going away. And they're just going to continue to, execute on this. So I think it was just overreacted to what happened with deep, whatever the heck it's called now. Deep something. Can't remember. Okay, let's go back here. And see, I told you guys, this thing would go away within like a half an hour, and it did. Man, it's just crazy. At what exahash of Bitfarms and at what price of BTC Bitfarms can do 7 USD? I mean, once they start getting closer to like the 15 exahash, I think they could get there. And then once they get closer to 20, for sure, I would think that they would do that as long as Bitcoin goes up to 120, 130, 150,000, 200,000, wherever it goes, right? Do you think Mara will begin being the biggest miner with the first mover advantage have given all the miners a black eye as they have only cared about creating market cap at the expense of shareholders? No, I don't think that's the case there at all. Because you've seen some miners that actually went up, some that had the HPCI plays, right? Those guys did pretty well. IREN doesn't even have a hodl position, but they actually did pretty well here last year as well. So I don't think that's the case. Didn't Anthony Power say to you that Mara would never reach an all-time high, and you disagreed on the McNally Money live stream last year? Yeah, I said I still think they could get there, right? But it could get close. But Bitcoin goes up to 200,000, 250,000. I think it still could get over that previous all-time high. And the only reason because of that is, I mean, last cycle they were at what, like 3.5 exahash. Now they're at 53 exahash. They got 40 some thousand Bitcoin HODL. You don't think that's going to have an impact on the market cap there from where it was last time? Yeah, I think there's a possibility there. Let's see. Is there a month timeline where you would be worried that we've topped at 100,000? It seems unlikely, but so much resistance at this level. It's there's resistance, but there's also a lot of support here as well. So I don't think so. I mean, we've only been at this level for how long? I mean, if you really look at it, it hasn't been that long. Where's Bitcoin? Up here. Come on, load for me. Okay. So we got above 100,000. When did we get above that? We got above that right here in December. So it's only been 2 months that we've been kind of trading sideways, right, with it. You can go back here. Look at this. We got to 73,000 here, and then we traded sideways from March, basically. We're going down, so kind of trading sideways through October. So you got March. So you got April, May, June, July, October. You got like 6 months there where we're going sideways. So sometimes we can go sideways on this. If you look at the last cycle here on it, there was the top there. When did we actually really start running up here? We started running up, it was like in November, I think. And well, slightly in October here, and then into November, we definitely started to run. But we also had these corrections where we were down 30% at certain points, 30%, 25%. But did we go sideways for a while? It was more of a peak and a dump and then another rally. Kind of went sideways here a little bit maybe. And then finished up at the top here. But there's times where we go up. So it is a little bit different cycle than last time. A lot more extended time frames where we're just kind of sideways a little bit, which might be a good thing, which might mean that we might go actually higher. You get this kind of relief phase where things kind of cool off, and then we run back up higher. Okay, there's that one. Let's see. Spin says, nice to see Cleanspark performing as expected down again. Cleanspark is getting rewards for not doing HPC by selling off. Let's see. OTC said, really appreciate your insights. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in as always. Let's see. Audrey says, Bitcoin will retreat back to 75,000. Mark my words. Well, that would be the point where you would have the CME futures gap getting filled at that point. I'm not saying it's out of the question. We might get close to that. Rex called MicroStrategy a pyramid scheme. Yeah, I saw that post today as well. I didn't see his video though. CSNH says, so many impatient and inexperienced investors here. Bitfarms will deliver on the expectations, and patient investors will make a fortune. I have done that many times with other companies. Yeah, patience, yeah. But patience is wearing thin with a lot of people. Also, a lot of people want to just come in, get in on these things, and make their 5x, 10x, and be done with it. Well, you got to be in it sometimes a little bit longer than that for that to happen, unfortunately. Yeah, DeepSeek, thank you. Let's see. Comment, you mentioned SpaceX. I have a bag of NPPTF, SpaceX, BTC, Sol proxies. Got to be brave and committed for this one. You can do it. Okay, appreciate it. What did your spreadsheet predict BTC price at 100,000? Much higher. I think we were at like $8, $12, something like that at that point. They've definitely been kept down. Seb, on average, how many times a day do you check your portfolio and BTC price? Portfolio, I don't really check it anymore. I check the Bitcoin price, let's see, in the morning when I wake up, at lunch, when I get home, and then when I get ready to do the show again. Unless I see something like drastic happening on X, they're saying something's happening, then I'll take a look at it, see what the heck's going on there. Let's see. Is IREN still a good candidate for a 4x this cycle? I still think so, as long as Bitcoin goes above 200,000. I think that's still a possibility there. Let's see. What's the multiple growth in shares outstanding between last cycle and this cycle? Does that growth outpace exahash? Does that outpace exahash, accounting for the halving and total network hash rate? Good question there. I don't know. We'd have to take a look at that. I do have the data, so I could probably pull that in. If you guys are interested in seeing that one of these days, we can definitely take a look at it. Let's see, why Cleanspark moved down big if it has no HPCI? I mean, it was down, what was it down yesterday? 12% I think it was down, right? Something like that. Or finished out like around 10%. But the other miners definitely got smoked at 25, 30% being down. So it did better. Mara, same thing, Mara I think was only down like 8%. Let's see, can Riot reach 40 by the end of the year? What would BTC price be at that point? Well, excuse me. I think with them stopping their production right now, or their expansion plans to grow their Bitcoin mining and looking for HPCI potential customers there, if let's just say that they don't get an HPCI customer there, right? And they kind of pause the Bitcoin mining for 3 months, 4 months while they're looking for a potential customer. If they don't find one, then they're going to be behind the ball a little bit here, which means at that point, I think Bitcoin's going to need to be above 200,000, if not more, and then they're going to have to really like maybe ramp up their growth here going forward. But also they have a nice huddle position as well, 17,000 Bitcoin roughly or so. So that could be also a nice impact. If Bitcoin goes from 100,000 now to 200,000 by the end of the year or by the end of third quarter, something like that, that's going to be a huge improvement for them for the FASB rules. And they can use that pretty much every quarter if it goes up each quarter. Let's see, why Bitfarms sold, do you think? He was talking highly of being in different countries. Should we expect selling more sites from Bitfarms? I don't think they're going to be selling more sites. I mean, they do still have some sites, I think, in Argentina, maybe in Paraguay, I believe, in that area. But they're smaller sites, I believe. I don't know if they're going to sell them. They might. If they want to really focus on the United States, they might do that, but I'm not sure. Why do you think Cleanspark will move? Bitcoin at 73,000, Cleanspark at 12. Bitcoin drops from 170 to Cleanspark drops to $1.50. I think, well, one's being shorter right now, so I think that's the main reason why. And then once they start reporting the quarterly results, we'll see if that's the catalyst that drives them up higher, which I would expect. Let's see, your question market seems better able to evaluate miners than last cycle. Last cycle miners were flying even though they were losing money every quarter. Do you think many miners will be around next cycle? Yes. A lot of these guys will be around next cycle. They're much, much bigger than where they were before. They also are much smarter than last time. Last time they were also doing debt, if you recall. On it, a lot of miners got hurt because of that. They were also, they were using BTC-backed loans. A lot of them got hurt because of that. I think they've learned their lesson. A lot of these guys have learned from each other what not to do, basically. So I think they've learned their lesson there. Let's see. C says, Sebastian, sorry, dude, you've been exposed. LOL, even your loyal listeners questioning you now with your stupid excuses and pushing the goalpost back over and over again. You sound like a fool. Well, thanks for coming in and watching. I'm glad you get an enjoyment out of it, right? Are we done with the cycle? I don't think we're done yet. So be patient. We'll talk in the next 6 to 9 months. We'll see where things end up then. But right now, we're still not past the cycle yet. If Bitcoin mining is such a good business, why are companies pivoting to HPCI? It's a good business, but it's also a very volatile business. There's periods of time where you make a lot of money, and there's periods of time where you're, breaking even or mining maybe at a loss or something like that. So that's the main reason why. They want to do something where you have a steady stream that kind of evens out the revenue, more or less, if they can. Isn't the fact that there are so many miners show that the business has a very small moat, meaning the market doesn't have to value them so highly versus businesses that can carve their own lane? Well, possibly. But if you look at everything else in the world, businesses-wise, there's always going to be competition. Competition is good. Competition eventually gets eaten up by others, by bigger players that have grown more than others, and you have consolidation happening eventually. So, yeah. All right. Question. Now banks can hold BTC. We can take a loan using our BTC without selling it and incurring capital gains. That, I don't know. I'm not a financial guy there as far as tax implications or anything like that. That I do not know. Okay. See, Mr. X here, see you're such a negative person. person, mama. Look, like I said, I'm all for free speech. You guys are more than welcome to bash me all you want. And some of you guys might be right in 6 to 9 months that I was completely off on this stuff, right? I'm not above that. I'm not beyond that, that I can't take criticism. I'll take criticism as well as praise. Criticism only makes you, I think, stronger and also makes you think a little bit more, are you doing the right things? So I'll take it regardless. I mean, not to get the PE ratios you are hoping for those are reserved for very high specialized businesses. Oh, but that can change though, right? I mean, we're in this kind of, I don't know, what do you want to call it, this funk right now with Bitcoin miners. Can that change? I still believe that can change here going forward. Could I be wrong on this? Yes, I could be wrong, right? But I still believe that there's just so much adoption happening here. I mean, you're seeing state after state after state basically looking to get Bitcoin under restricted reserve. You got countries talking about it. You got companies that are buying it all the time now. And the supply is just decreasing every single 4 years. What do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? It's going to go up. And I don't think we're done going up just yet either. So I'm still optimistic. I'm still, I would say I'm still optimistic that things are going to work out well. Maybe that's to a fault of my own. Maybe I'm being too optimistic on that point. Let's see here. Christian says like a gas station or a lumber yard doesn't get it. Yeah, but then they're also not going to be making $100 million in a month. So you got to look at that way as well. What are your thoughts on the price expectation on CORZ? Thank you. I think they're going to be going up higher, right? Especially once they start making the revenues from the CoreWeave deal here towards the beginning of the second half. That should be a good thing for them there. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see here. Bitcoin adoption doesn't have anything to do with the miners. Well, the miners secure the network. So they play a big role there as well. I'm starting to think you guys are maybe some of the shorts that are in there. Shorting these guys. Miners will continue to dilute, survive, and grow on guaranteed. Yeah, they will definitely grow for sure. So you see, you are not the only person that feels like that, but Sebastian isn't a weak-handed little beat like you, so take off the weak hands and go buy a blue chip stock or something else. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming to my rescue there. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Rex calling MicroStrategy a Ponzi scheme? I do not believe it's a Ponzi scheme. Yes, they are buying Bitcoin and things like that, and they're looking for more people to buy into their convertible notes and things like that. But investors are going into it because the value of Bitcoin is going up. So there is some fear, at least on my side, that if they buy too, I mean, it's nice that they're buying it right now at 100,000, like 100,000 here, 100,000 here, right? So they're kind of basically creating almost like a stop block or a stop position or something like that. That as long as their average is below a certain point, and if Bitcoin does crash down to a certain point there, hopefully it will be below that or won't get liquidated on that. That's the only fear that I have there, right? If we have another cycle where Bitcoin does go up to 200,000, 250,000, then we go back down to 67,000 or something like that. Right, so that's kind of where I'd be. Okay, Seb, thank you for your input. You're very welcome. Let's see what else here. Andrew says Bitcoin adoption does have a lot to do with the miners because it means more transactions. Yes. Christian Banks talked about that. Like I said, I don't know about that. Let's see. I feel the HPCI pilot program at Bitfarms provided them with so many interest from bigger hyperscalers, made Bitfarms think about expansion operations in the United States to meet the expected demand. I don't think they've even started that yet. I know they were planning on doing that pilot program, but I don't think they started it yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Excuse me. What else? When will the miners start announcing fourth quarter earnings? This should be the one catalyst after another, right? That's what I'm hoping. I believe it's going to be, I don't know who's going to be first. Hive or Cleanspark is going to be probably one of the first two that report. That should be probably like the first week, I'm guessing, of February here. But we haven't heard anything yet from these guys. Let's see, if BTC keeps rising, will miners stop diluting and sell BTC to fund their growth by the next halving? If Bitcoin continues to go up continually, like in an extended cycle, then there's a possibility that, yes, they might be able to do that. My thought process was always, when I was looking at these things as miners, is I wanted them to Hodl more so as we get close to the halving event. Hodl into the halving event, through the halving event, past the halving event a little bit, and then sell as Bitcoin's going up to then fund the growth into the possible bear market. But if we don't have a bear market and we just have an extended cycle, then yeah, I mean, they could possibly sell a small portion of it and fund the growth that way without diluting, or maybe diluting a lot less than what we have come to expect from them at least. What did Bitfarms pay for that site? That I don't know, because of the built out that they were doing. So I'm guessing it was less or maybe break even from what they sold it for, because well, labor is much less expensive there along with materials. So okay, Yuri says Cleanspark on February 13th, believe first earnings. Okay, that would kind of make sense, right? They're not doing the full fiscal year end numbers, so their numbers can come out a little bit faster. I thought they might be a little bit faster than that, though, but we'll see. All right, we're going on over an hour here, past it. So we'll see what tomorrow brings us. Today was an exciting day. We got a bunch of new stories. States getting adoption, miners switching facilities, basically selling facilities and buying facilities. We'll see what else happens tomorrow. We got tomorrow's the 29th. So we got a couple more days here in the month of January. We'll see where we end up at. And then we'll see what the miners bring us for production of results for January as well coming up. All right. So thank you again for coming in. As always, love you guys all. Have a great night. And I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.